and we get 10 teachers. They're selling, and people are clapping. Oh, yes. You know, the idea that somebody's got to lose for you to win. That's a cannibalistic, imploding economy. The globalist main job is putting the brakes on a global economy. They want you dependent. The truth is, with mechanization, machines, factories, robotics, technologies, we should all be living like kings. But they don't want that. They want a post-industrial world. In their own statements, NASA, the Pentagon. And then they respond to the economic degradation they've created with a, quote, green UN army to occupy countries that are imploding under IMF World Bank austerity. In fact, I never covered that yesterday, crew. Will you go into yesterday's stack and pull me? There's like 3 articles about the green helmets and the carbon taxes. You don't pay your carbon taxes or do what they say. The UN, quote, green helmets invade, but it's not war, it's peace. Kind of like when Obama backs all these al-Qaeda rebels all over the world to overthrow or try to overthrow governments and then openly say, well, this is good, al-Qaeda. And it's peace when our rebels attack, and then if they're losing, then the NATO and the U.S. start bombing. It's not war, it's kinetic action, it's peace. So I'm going to get into all of that. Continuing here with other economic news, the stack is thick. I'll get to more of that later. Now, remember, coming up at 33 after, the big story. They've got ads that, DHS ads that show black people and Hispanics and others seeing white people. All the terrorists are white, and it zooms in on big blue eyes, animated, glowing like glacial ice. And it's just the whites are everywhere. The whites are everywhere. They're going to get you. You know, the white al-Qaeda. See, first they tell the good old boys, we're going to take all the rights away of the brown people. And the good old boys are like, good, get them brown people, kill them, glass parking lot them. We get all the internal documents. It's all about gun owners, conservatives, returning veterans. Then, after they've got the stuff in place, they flip it and say, it's white people. They're everywhere. Now, that's already in the internal police training manuals. But that's coming up at 33 after. Okay, continuing with economic news. Euro reaches 11th hour as Angela Merkel and Nicolas Sarkozy hold crisis talks. And you notice how this works. Europe has now had 3 bailouts of the banks in the last 3 years. The United States has had an open window of just perpetual, quote, bailouts. 70+% of the money we now know going to foreign banks and families and individuals, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, their foreign subsidiaries, tax-free, while their own media groups promote fixing things by raising taxes on the rich. They mean your neighbor that lives in a bigger house than you. They are exempt. The ultra-rich are exempt. They sick the giant welfare-dependent class on what's left of the middle class. Then everyone's poor, and there's no way to escape the bondage. And then the government jobs or contracts are all you can get because you're post-industrial and your economy's been destroyed and you're totally dependent. It's a sharecropper, neo-feudalistic, fascistic system. Every one of those words means something. When I say a sharecropper economy, look up what that means. Where you're dependent, where you're worse than a slave. Because slave owners, if you study the Caribbean, you study North America and the colonies, then after, and slavery, predominantly blacks, if you study slavery, you very, very quickly learn that the slaves, the black slaves, had it horrible, but the white indentured servants, Irish and others, you know, they were the first waves of, quote, poor Europeans. Most of you have ancestors that were indentured servants. You would sign a 5, 7, or 10-year contract, and you would come here, but then they would make you pay for your room and board and other things, and most people never got off the plantation. And then if you tried to run, they would actually put you in torture stocks. They would lock your arms and head up in a torture position many times till you died, or lock you up in a cage. Yeah, it was only the Constitution got rid of that cruel and unusual punishment. And that's what people don't understand. And the sharecropper owners.
HempUSA.org has moved and expanded its operations for faster worldwide shipping. Our product line has grown from 5 to nearly 100 items in less than 5 years. Our food is grown naturally, always chemical-free, not found in stores. Great for daily intake and perfect for your emergency storage shelter. Call 908-691-2608 or visit hempusa.org and see what our powders, seeds, and oil can do for you.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a silver dollar in a book explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
Hello, this is Steve Shank. What does freedom mean to you? eFoods Direct is celebrating freedom with the Freedom Food Giveaway. Each week in July, they are giving away a 1-year food supply. Just go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex and register to win a 1-year food supply with a 25-year shelf life. At efoodsdirect.com/Alex, look for the new Patriot Pack, a $149 12-day supply of food, plus accessories that is free with a purchase of $235 or more. Call 800-409-5633 or on the web efoodsdirect.com/Alex and register to win a free 1-year supply of food. Then listen to Alex Jones to announce the weekly winners. Also, the first 50 to register each day win a $50 subscription to the Voice of Reason e-newsletter. Go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex or call 800-409-5633.
Optics Planet is calling all hunters, shooters, and outdoorsmen. It's time to gear up. As the best online retailer of rifle scopes, red dot sights, lasers, and other firearm accessories, Optics Planet has a special deal to offer GCN listeners. You may already know OpticsPlanet.com has the best selection of weapon lights, holsters, night vision, binoculars, and tactical gear on the planet. With incredibly low prices, free shipping on most orders, and USA-based phone support, Optics Planet is the online retailer of choice for discerning gun owners and outdoor enthusiasts. Featuring Loophole, Blackhawk, EOTech, Crimson Trace, Night Force, Trigicon, Surefire, over 700 top brands. For a limited time, head to opticsplanet.com/GCN to get a free Streamlight Keymate, the world's most powerful keychain light with purchase. That's opticsplanet.com/GCN or call 800-332-OPTICS right now to speak with an Optics Planet product specialist. 800-332-6784.
So my point on sharecropping is, and this was written in mainline histories at the time, that the white sharecroppers a lot of times would starve to death. And the way it would be put down in the books by the sharecropper owner would be, oh, they died of sickness, because you would get malnourished and then die of a normal cold that wouldn't kill somebody who was getting enough nourishment, and because you didn't need to take care of them. And you would have to buy your products from the company store under the contract if you wanted a shirt or a dress for your daughter, and then your children would grow up slaves of the sharecropper system. Now, when blacks got Emancipation Proclamation, they then became sharecroppers, most of them. And then a lot of black folks ran to the north and other areas where they found just as much tribalism, racism, whatever you want to call it, competing for resources. and then tried to form their own communities just so they could have, that's why folks tend to put themselves in their own community, just so they could have some type of economic ecosystem to buy, sell, and trade with each other. And I'm not saying that segregation was good. The point is that then they wanted to get rid of the thriving, wealthy black communities that had developed with their own economies, their own banks, their own grocery stores, their own churches. And so the Great Society came in as a way to have the state come in, pose as liberals, bring in money to pay the women not to have men in the house so that the society would break down, so the narcotics could be brought in, so then the young black males could be put in prison, which were colleges for crime. And now that same model is being duplicated out to everyone. So that's why they want to destroy the middle class and make us modern sharecroppers, where we all either get government contracts for business or are on some type of assistance or welfare, or they take part of your paycheck for life, steal the money, and then hyperinflate the currency and steal the value of your Social Security and your pensions, whether they're public or private. This is how the globalists operate. They do not want you to be independent. And sure enough, the third round ended a few months ago of trillions of dollars of European taxpayer money being pumped into private banks and private families. And so just as soon as they got hundreds of billions more in the Greece bailout, now they're back for more, and the contagion is spreading. Oops, now more countries need to be bailed out. But it's not really countries. They always want to put the blame on the people. It's not Italy. It's not Portugal. Their government traders signed on to the derivatives, so the government investments now have been devalued, and so the bankers that sold them the fraudulent instruments don't go to jail. They get trillions more to prop up those very instruments. Euro reaches 11th hour deal as Angela Merkel and Nicolas Sarkozy hold crisis talks. So they're trying to reach this 11th hour deal. They haven't reached it yet. And it continues early on Thursday morning. After 7 hours of talks, Germany and France reached a common position on a second bailout of Greece. So somewhat of a deal, but not completely. But details of that accord were not revealed. You can't let the slaves know what's going on. The German chancellor and French president have been barraged with pleas from political and financial leaders to reach an agreement or risk the collapse of the single currency. And then they'll give them trillions more of taxpayer money to the bankers. And then you go into more debt to prop them up. And then a month from now after this new deal, they'll say, now we need trillions more or things will collapse. And then trillions more will be given. And they'll say, now we need trillions more. We need to raise your taxes more and cut more services or things will collapse. And then more will be given. Same thing here in the U.S. And on and on and on and on and on forever, just like a third world country. Just like Nigeria, just like Brazil, just like Argentina. Argentina, more wealthy 80 years ago per capita than any other country in the world except for Switzerland. The saying was, as rich as an Argentine or an Argentine. Not anymore. Ted Anderson was down there, I know, last year, and he said it was hellish. And he said, you see families, not drunken homeless people, but good-looking families living in doorways with their children everywhere. Police stomping around. A once wealthy nation that signed on to the banker system destroyed. I'll never forget that article in 2001, the Washington Post, where the Washington Post reporter witnessed it. An 18-wheeler carrying Black Angus beef, premium beef, turned over 2 weeks into the total collapse. And there were families, it described like Robinson Crusoe, in their suits, but with torn jackets and holes in them, with dirt all over their faces, running up with knives and cutting off giant bloblets of beef and gobbling it with their children with blood all over them. You can pull that article up, just like piranhas, just like tearing into the meat. Because they hyperinflated their currency. They shut down all the infrastructure when they, quote, defaulted. And so we're just being maneuvered into the inevitable default. They're just getting us deeper, threatening default now as they get us deeper down the rat hole. Germany, France break Euro bailout deadlock. Yes. Yes. Rupert Murdoch's Fox News ran Black Op Department. Former executive claims they'll end up dead. That's out of the London Telegraph. Look for that executive to commit suicide real quick. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
This is Alex Jones with 5 good reasons you should consider buying a solar power generator. Number 1, new climate legislation could easily double or triple your electric bill. Number 2, our new energy czar wants to control how much power your electric company allows you to have. It's true. Total government control of electricity in the name of smart grid technology is coming. Number 3, in some areas of the country, the power grid is dangerously overloaded. And now, new socialist legislation is only compounding the problem. Number 4, dangerous weather is always a threat to local grids. Every year, thousands of families lose their power from weather-related outages. Number 5, a solar power generator provides powerful backup insurance and peace of mind. Folks, I really believe in the solar power generators offered by Solutions from Science, one of my oldest sponsors. You can get more information at www.mysolarbackup.com. That's mysolarbackup.com. Remember, the government doesn't own